Welcome to the Reckless Experience with Mark podcast with your host, Mark Vickery. This is a podcast about life, the show that brings you the know-how, the how-to, and the WTF. Each week, discussing daily life with interviews of people you really want to know. Now, here's your host, Mark Slick Vickery.
Welcome to the Reckless Experience with Mark. I'm your host, Mark Slick Vickery. I'm going to talk about COVID. Yes, that heartbreaking, annoying, all over the news and social media drama, COVID. Well, when COVID first came to happen in Canada, my wife and I both were working for different companies at the time, and my wife got sick. And at first, of course, we thought it was full flu, whatever. And then because of the COVID testing and stuff, she got tested. And because she and I shared a home, I got tested and we were positive. So this was hard for us. She was in bed for months, eating popsicles and drinking Ensure. Couldn't hold anything else down. And to this day, she still has vertigo and some symptoms. I, not as much, but we both now are fully vaxxed. She has her booster as well. So not that that's anybody's business. It's our own. But I'm sharing this COVID episode from the heart. I want people to understand not everybody is in the same boat here. Some people, you could eat a bucket of rusty nails and be healthy. Drink puddles of mud water and be healthy. And then other people, they just have to step outside and bam, they're sick. Life-threatening disease. Everybody's different, okay? So with that being said, you have to have some compassion for fellow human beings. No matter the country they're from, race, age, sex, doesn't matter. Have some compassion, okay? So for me to see these groups of protesters and stuff around the world, it's kind of crappy because it always brings numbers up and it just repeats the vicious cycle. So places like China and India, they lock down. Like 20 million people, they lock down. You know how hard that would be? But they do it. They're a little harder on the law side than Canada and the US are, mind you. So they have a little bit more, excuse the expression, but freedom to control their population. I know that sounds bad, but that's not my intention. Just a simple way to put it in layman terms. And then they eradicate most of the risk, and then they move on with life. They've had to do that a few times. We've had 5 waves worldwide, Omicron being the most recent. It's more of a mild version, which is good. But some people blow it out of proportion and say, it's always been mild. It's just a cold and flu. Well, for those of you that are online social media doctors and scientists, kudos to you for trying to inform people about the realistic disease that's only a cold or flu. The flu can kill people. We understand that. And it kills millions. But just like the flu, COVID, SARS, it's all related in some way, shape, or form. It's the way it adapts and changes. You treat it with one thing, it changes and goes to the other. That's what they're finding out now with these vaccines. Okay, so before COVID, flu shots, sometimes people would go get a flu shot, the next day they'd have the flu. Well, you're injecting yourself with a vaccine. A vaccine is it's going to give you the symptoms in some cases. It is what it is. But at the same time, people automatically assume with our technology, you should be able to eradicate cancer. You should be able to eradicate this. The big pharma is taking over. They just want to do that to make money. Yeah, maybe they do. But when it comes to a worldwide situation like this, honestly, I believe COVID needed to happen. It needed to show the world how unprepared we had to depend on other countries to get a vaccine. We were not prepared. So back to my point, flu shots have been around for years and they don't always work. It all depends on the person. Now, it is possible for us as humans to have an underlying condition that a doctor hasn't diagnosed. If you have a weak immune system, that could be caused from your diet. It could be caused from smoking, drinking. The air you breathe could cause it. So take into consideration when you're taking your medical experience to the internet, calling other people sheep and telling them to tighten their tinfoil hats and how do they like government control, enjoy the microchips and becoming a zombie. You watch way too many movies. So what I'm trying to say is with technology today, advancements move faster. Technology in the medical industry has come a long way since 100 years ago when the last pandemic. So things like vaccine and stuff can be implemented to the public a lot faster. It would make sense. I understand that concept. Not many people do. They automatically assume, well, the flu pandemic took years, sometimes 10, 20 years for an actual vaccine to become workable. Well, yeah, maybe. It could be 100 years before they find a vaccine for COVID that eradicates it completely. They've been successful with some, polio, measles, right? And even that's not 100%. So before you start judging and blabbing off all over the internet and on TV and wherever else protesting, consider that it's never going to be perfect, but they are trying. Now, with COVID, for us, I had an employer that really didn't like the idea that I wasn't going to work. Hey, I wasn't getting paid to stay home. Sorry, I got sick. Sorry, my wife was sick. I quit that job. I was angry. I actually quit. I had a lot of respect for the owners there and the people that I worked with, but I quit. I was very unhappy at how it came across because I was sick and that my wife was sick. The owner didn't believe that this was real, so of course he didn't agree with it, and that's his right. But I mean, I have a lot of respect for the guy, but I was still quite upset, and I did leave that job. I think it was better that I left that job. I did meet a lot of great people there. And my wife, well, the medical industry, they're actually pretty good. When you get sick, they get paid sick days and, they take care of you in most cases. So that was good. She's still with them today. So that's awesome. For me, I don't want to get a vaccine. I just never really had to in life beyond being a child. So obviously I had the standard ones that were given to young babies and stuff, which is good because half of us wouldn't be alive today without them. I guarantee 90% of the people that are anti-vax today probably had vaccines as a kid, so they should understand that. They don't have to agree with it. I get it. They have their free right to do so. About 22 years ago, I went to get a flu shot. It's like 3 or 4 years in a row, I got really sick with the flu, and my doctor suggested it. So the following year, came time to get flu shot. Well, you got to sit down for 15 minutes after you get it done. They just want to make sure there's no adverse effects and so on. Well, I didn't even get my ass in that chair and I went into seizures. So the next thing you know, I'm in the back of an ambulance. I'm in a merge and it sucked. It was scary. So after all the testing, it turned out I had an allergic reaction to some of the ingredients. I didn't do my research. The pharmacist did ask if I was allergic to certain items, and I did tell them, to the best of my ability, that I did not know and was not 100% sure. No one was really at fault, but I did learn, and I'm glad I did, because in the future, it prevented me from taking that particular type of medicine or that particular item in the future that could, if I had to hop behind the wheel of a car that day, and didn't have the seizure till I was already behind the wheel, I could have killed myself or someone else. So I'm glad it happened where it happened. So anyways, months after my wife got it, she had no issues whatsoever. She took it like a champ. She had a little bit of a sore arm. Otherwise, all shots were great for her. Everybody around me at my place of employment at this time, this was this past Christmas time, everybody was getting it done. And they never really had too much of a problem. A couple of the guys that work here had ill effects from it, but they recovered, no worries. So I decided, maybe a little bit of guiltiness, but I thought, this is a new worldwide virus that's spreading rapidly. Maybe I better just protect myself and the people around. So I got the first shot, and I will tell you, it made me extremely ill. My body did everything it could to reject it. Some would say that's because it's poison. Well, it's no different than the food that we put in our bodies and the tobacco and the smoke and the shit we breathe in every day. You really have to take that into consideration. I recovered, waited a few weeks to get the second jab. I got it done. I was sick, but not as bad. I recovered fairly quick. And honestly, after a couple of weeks, some of those after effects from COVID actually disappeared on me. So I was kind of grateful for that. I don't push it on anybody else. I do wear a mask. My wife and I wear a mask. We always have medical grade masks now. We used to have cloth masks in the beginning. We had a doctor that we know personally suggested that we should wear a medical mask, change them often. See, this is the problem. I have to say this to everybody. So it's fine and dandy. Everybody and their brother, when COVID broke out, was making masks, sewing up a storm, making cloth masks. Good for you. I'm in the 3D printing world, so a couple of companies offered 3D printer hobbyists to pay for their filament, like their plastics, if they made face shields, which was awesome. Everybody stepped up to the plate. I didn't. I was sick at the time, so I didn't bother. And so tons of people helped out, and it was great. The medical industry had masks and shields, right? They helped out. So everybody making those masks, I was at a suitcase. There's a suitcase franchise, and they sell bags, purses, suitcases. They're in all the malls across Canada. I forget their name. There's a few different companies, but they had these HEPA filter masks come in a pack of 2, and they come with HEPA filters that are interchangeable, and you can wash them. So I grabbed like 4 or 5 packs of those because I knew I was going to wash them regularly. Because think about this. If you're putting that mask on and you wear it all day, you spit in it, you breathe in it, and then you hang it up and you wear it the next day and the next day and the next day. So I got to tell you, that's really unhealthy. So what happens when you wear a dirty mask for so long, it'll actually make you sick. The mold in there and the spores that you're breathing in, you're actually making yourself sick by wearing this mask regularly. Many people are using it as a scapegoat to not wear one. Oh, the mask is going to make me sick. I can't wear it all that time. Well, you're not supposed to wear it that long. You're not supposed to wear it for 24-hour periods, 7 days a week, 3 months in a row. You need to throw it out. You need to get rid of it. Wash it. Many of the people that were getting sick were wearing cloth masks that they weren't washing, and they were getting their immune system broken down. And then they were getting COVID. It's to this day the same thing. People that are vaccinated are still doing the same thing. So COVID attacks weak immune systems. Now this is all proven. I've read the medical papers online and stuff about this stuff. That's how I found out. People that are vaccinated, people that are unvaccinated, it doesn't matter. If you're wearing a dirty mask, it can cause you to get sick. And when you're sick, doesn't matter whether you're vaccinated, the virus can attack your system. Think about that. So we bought a couple of boxes of medical masks, and that's what we wear. I wear it for the day if I'm out, if I'm running into work for a couple minutes or running into a grocery store. I will wear one mask for one day, whether it's all day or different trips in and out of a business or different businesses. And then I will throw it away. I hate wasting, but it's a medical mask. It has to be thrown away because if you get them too moist, they get little fibers and it feels like you got hair in your mouth and it's kind of gross. Anyways, medical masks, obviously, way better. 90% of this population has no idea how to properly wear a mask. You see people they'll pull them down when they're not over their face and put them on their chin or their neck. And then they'll pull them up. They're constantly touching them. They'll put them underneath their nose. They'll put them just on their mouth. And then they'll put them down again. Okay, I feel like all us Canadians and people all around the world need to put on our big adult panties here and shoes and whatever else. You need to think straight. Use some common sense. It's not hard to do some research. Ask a medical professional, how am I supposed to wear this mask? How do I handle it? How do I dispose of it? How do I prepare to wear it? Everyone by now, 2 years in, should know exactly how to do this. It's like putting on your pants in the morning. You should know by now how to do it. So many people protesting, oh, I refuse to wear my government muzzle. I'm not wearing a muzzle. You're going to kill my children. No. You're going to kill your children by making them wear the same mask every day, all fucking week, and not washing it. Use that potato on your shoulders and think about this. So we do that because it helps us. And we find we haven't had a problem at all. I do have a problem with people that refuse to go into a business without a mask, and then they yell and scream at the minimum wage worker that's in there like it's their fucking problem. How can we be this angry? Come on. Yeah, I get frustrated. The little common sense on the masks. I'm actually going to do a small TikTok video on this, on the mask, on wearing it, just to spread the word. I want people to understand that it's simple little things that will help us out. You know, wearing the same dirty mask, it's like wearing dirty clothes. You don't clean and shower, you can get sick. So it's important that we actually take care of ourselves in every way, shape, and form. You guys get my point, that the masks are part of our problem. Now, many doctors have come forward to tell people this, but it doesn't seem to be a priority, and I'm not sure why. So I think in the government's eyes, mature adults should have the common sense. And the government shouldn't have to tell you how to raise your children, how to dress, or anything like that. So common sense plays a big factor here. So I'm telling everybody, and like I said, I'm going to make a few TikTok videos on this because I want to spread the word. And I really want people to understand that if they're going to wear the masks, they need to wear them properly, and they need to dispose of them properly and wear them for a shorter period of time and stop repeatedly wearing the same mask for weeks. Because I've had friends, buddies go, they have their mask hanging up in their mirror, their truck or their car, and they're like, I take it everywhere. It's always been there. It's always handy. And I'm like, oh, you only have the one? Yeah, I ain't fucking buying another one. They're expensive, like $10 each, man. And I'm like, okay. You ever wash it? And they're like, wash it? The fuck would I wash it for? I just give them that Mark look like, really? Oh my goodness. I can't believe you're my friend. And then I lecture them and I talk, and most of my friends that know me, some of them phase me out because I do talk a lot, but it is who I am. And most of the things I say, I usually have some kind of meaning for. I'm going to keep telling myself that, but it is what it is. So, yeah, right now the world is a shit show with everybody protesting COVID. Let's go back. First wave, lockdown opened up, everything got died down. And then, of course, you know, the second wave came. And then, of course, the lockdown again and restrictions. And okay, I'm going to tell something. I'm going to give you some reality checks here. No country in the world right now knows what to do. It's been 100 years. And it doesn't matter what kind of records they had back then. People today don't know what to do with a pandemic. It's important for us to understand that. Honestly, the government here in Canada is a shit show, but it's not alone. Every country in the world is going through the same bullshit. And then because, okay, some of you may dislike this, but because they don't know what to do and they lock us down and they give us restrictions, trying to curb this virus spread. Oh, my bleeding, sensitive fucking heart people. Oh, you're taking my rights away. I can't go to the bar. I can't go to a restaurant. Businesses are dying here. I can support the businesses losing money. I understand that. The government tried to help, but we can't go broke with it. Okay, there's got to be a way for everybody to survive here and businesses to be okay. I get it. That's a shit show, and the government needs to revamp that shit. All your bleeding hearts, all your rights taken away. Well, ask anybody up on Parliament Hill right now. It doesn't seem like they got any restrictions up there. Shit, it's quite the party. But I understand. I understand all the different countries. They're trying to do the best they can. So it doesn't matter. If they just let the virus run through, the medical situation would have been atrocious. The hospitals they were overrun. Many hospitals across North America and the world were building field hospitals to deal with the sick and the dying. Man, unless you're in a time of war and you're on the front lines, you have no idea what these medical people go through in a field hospital. They have to make bad decisions. We haven't got the manpower to help this person. Let them die. Let's go to this one. Do you know how hard of a decision that is on the human brain? I feel sorry for those doctors and nurses to make those kind of decisions. And I think the people we should be supporting right now are the people in the medical field. Because they've kept our fucking asses alive and still able to help us in other ways. Heart attacks, car accidents, blah, blah, blah. You get my point. You're going to lose some rights. When there's a pandemic, even in the beginning, we had the same complaints we have today. My kids can't wear a mask. I can't wear a mask. I can't wear a mask. I can't breathe. Oh, but when you're wearing any other kind of mask on your head for whatever reason, you're okay, right? Some people are just bent that way. And then some people have legitimate concerns. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to breathe with something over your face. Some people have panic attacks. I totally can respect the fact that they have those issues. But there's alternatives. No word of a lie. Every Canada resident knows what a dollar store is. Most of them know what a dollar store is. I'll say most, because maybe there is a few that have no fucking clue. They sell face shields. $2 each. It's reusable. You own it for life. $2. Some dollar stores sell it for $4, some for $1.25. It all depends on where you go. But anyways, it's a face shield. And you can wear it instead of a mask. Who would have thought? Wow. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? So then you get people coming up. I can't wear that. It hurts my head, gives me headaches. But you wear sunglasses and you wear a hat. Okay. But you can't wear a face shield. Oh, and you're a welder. Oh, that's what you do for a living. But you can't wear a face shield for medical purposes, but you can wear a welding helmet. I actually had one of my friends tell me that, who's a welder. You know who you are. You're a dumbass. And I've told you that. But I love you, brother. Anyways, a little common sense goes a long way. The world is gone to hell in a handbasket over COVID. Yes, I agree. It's been 2 years. We need to move on. But protesting and making unreasonable demands isn't going to help us or other people. So Omicron has peaked about a month ago here where I live, and it's on its way down. Numbers in the hospitals and the ICUs are on their way down. So as usual, the government opens up. And no, it had nothing to do with the trucker protests. They were already scheduled to open up. Oh, and for those of you that don't like to read and don't understand the vaccine passport, the vaccine passport has an end date. So when they first introduced it, it had an end date of January 2022. On January 2022, they extended it. Now, I believe it's March 2022 that it's extended to, but don't hold me to that. Do your own research and check it out. All these mandates have end dates. Just because you don't see it in the media or on your social media, they have end dates. They're not a permanent restriction on your life. So, yeah, it's not a forever thing. Who would have thought? Yeah. It's like putting snowsuits on your kids. You only have to do it for so many months a year here in Canada. Then you can hang that fucker up and you don't have to struggle with them anymore. Cool, right? Not a forever thing. Neither is the damn mask. But we have a big controversy. We have big controversies on vaccine. I don't agree with them fully, but I'm one person. I have my own opinion. I have my own rights. I have freedom. I can do what the fuck I want, when I want, where I want. I can travel. I made the choice to get vaccines so I could go into a restaurant. I could travel. I can protect those around me. And honestly, where I live at a resort as a caretaker here, and I have my own cabin. I can keep to myself. I'm a preparedness guy. I like to be prepared. This drives my wife crazy because I have too much shit. I like to have canned goods, dried goods, safety gear, everything from matches to toilet paper to a heat source to light sources, food, medical stuff. I have it all. I'm that, what do you call those? The prepper? I like that. I used to sell as a side gig. I used to sell emergency buckets, and people used to love it. They'd buy them from me all the time. I'm not that guy that hoards. Don't get me wrong. Don't confuse me with those people that go to Costco and buy 10 packs of the 100-roll toilet paper because they're afraid they're going to have to wipe their ass with their hand. Ay, ay, ay. No, this is what I will buy for my home, my wife and me and my dog. I will make sure the dog has food for at least 3 to 5 weeks. I will make sure we have food for 3 to 5 weeks. 3 weeks, we eat comfortably. 5 weeks, we have to ration. Any longer than that, we will have to really ration. I will make sure Costco has the Kirkland brand toilet paper. I believe it's 48 rolls or something like that. I always buy that toilet paper. It's soft, feels good on my bum, for those reasons. Ha ha ha. It lasts forever. It's individually packed in 6 packs. So whatever that at 46, 48, whatever it was. Anyways, when it gets about half gone, I will go buy another one. So I always keep a supply on there, but I won't overdo it. Like when we had toilet paper shortages, I worked right down to my last roll, right? I wasn't greedy like some people are. I will also buy Kirkland brand bottles of water. So they're about $4 a case for 30 bottles or so. I will always keep 3 or 4 of those on hand. I buy them at separate times. I'll buy 1 or 2 at a time. And because they, like everything, it has a date on it. It's water, but it has a date, right? So I try to, same with all my canned goods, I try to keep everything reasonable and I rotate what I can. Try not to, when you stock stuff, don't buy stuff you won't eat. Don't go to the dollar store and buy canned goods like you're leaving the planet. I mean, half that shit you won't eat. People won't eat pork and beans all the time or Spam or canned ham. Buy it for emergency, sure, but you're going to have to rotate it. So for me, some stuff I won't rotate. We don't need it. I will actually donate it. So I will take it to the food bank before the date is up, people. Don't be that rude. So I will rotate all that stuff. Water, I will rotate. So sometimes we'll drink bottles of water and use it. I don't like it because I don't like the waste of the bottles. Me, I'm happy with just tap water, but you have to have emergency water, especially when you live right on the ocean like we do. You got to have a good source of clean water. It's important to have all that stuff. Be prepared if you ever have to be locked down. It's not against your rights. They're trying to protect people. I understand the Trudeau government has extended that reach, but these people with the conspiracy theories that they're going on, this new world order, and they're trying to control the population. Oh my goodness. So those that know me know how I feel. I believe that mankind, so the whole planet, should have one government, one leader. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, people think this new world order, like, oh, it's so bad. They're going to be controlling. They're going to get rid of money. Well, isn't money the root of all evil? Don't people complain about money 24/7, whether they have it or not? Wouldn't it be a good thing if you could be happy and have what you want and not have to worry about working 80-hour weeks to get it? My ultimate life, I feel that man should live and work to better itself. And maybe I watch too much Star Trek. I don't know. But that's how I feel. I don't believe that, like, when you go to a store, everything's in branding and different products, 10 of the same item made by different manufacturers with different products and different marketing on it and different prices. Me, I'm happy. I love buying name brand stuff because it's usually tastier. If you get the no name stuff, sometimes it's a lower grade of that product. It really is. That's usually what happens. Your Raisin brand, 2 full scoops, but a no name brand has 1.5, all jokes, but you get my point, right? The no name brand from Loblaws, I love it. It's all one color. I think it should just be brown cardboard. Shouldn't be dyed. We shouldn't use dangerous dyes on food products of any sort. I think everything should be in brown cardboard and bags. It's all recyclable with its name printed on it or whatever. Why? Why would you spend all that money on packaging? You're forcing someone to buy packaging to toss in the garbage. Doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, this episode's about COVID. I'm going a little off topic. So my point here is with COVID and the masks, the government is trying to do the best they can to please everyone. They're never going to please everyone. Even the government can't decide amongst each other what is right and wrong. How do you expect them to make everybody else happy? We have to be good Samaritans, good Canadians. The rest of the world will follow. The world has their eyes on Canada right now with all this protesting bullshit. Canada should lead by example. We want our freedoms, yeah. But fighting for them like that isn't... I personally don't think it's appropriate. I don't think the government has overreached as much as you think they have. I think many people have been misled there. I have friends and I see people online that make comments about the government tracking people and cameras everywhere and they want to know everything. Everybody has a social insurance number in Canada and a health card and a license and when you a passport and the government's not, they got to know everything. Well, it's just like warnings on a package. Warnings on some packages for safety have been placed upon those packages because some dumb fuck did something stupid. Well, the same goes for life in general. We have this thing called terrorists. People that are bad, that want to create harm to innocent people and the government has to protect its people. And unfortunately, in some cases, it means we have to be tracked on what we do and see. It's not a control thing. Trust me, if we were under government control and they were trying to control us, we wouldn't have this thing called the internet. Because the internet lets you do a lot of crazy shit. A lot of the scammers come from the internet through that system. So trust me on that. They wanted control. There's lots of ways they could do it. Many countries do. Just saying. They do control that. And their leaders are dictators. And they have been in charge for 20 years, right? And they kill all their opposition and stuff. We're not at that point, and I hope we never get to that point. I will tell you, because of this COVID protest bullshit, we are going to have a lot more do's and don'ts. It's gonna affect any protesters in the future that have legitimate concerns from doing what their rights allow them to do. And it's because of people like the organizers of this protest for freedom, it's because of them that these new laws are probably going to be put into place. They're already talking about it. So we won't be able to do too much about that. Every party out there wants something. Whether it's conservatives, NDP, or the liberals, right? They're all going to have their method to madness, right? So I just want to recap the whole COVID thing. So those of you that are still wearing masks, that choose to wear the masks, remember, you should not wear a mask more than one day at a time. Have multiple masks if you're going to use the cloth ones. Wash them regularly. Even if you wash them by hand with a little dish soap, a good use like a baby soap if you're gonna, because it's gonna be on your mouth, right? I tend to use Spray Dawn, the spray bottle one. It's very strong, kills bacteria. We wash our utensils and plates and all that stuff with it, so it's okay near your mouth and face, right? I suggest washing it, whether you do it by hand or in the laundry. Sometimes we do that too. Don't wear the same mask every day. This will help you. If you can afford to go and buy surgical masks, go buy surgical masks or a face shield. Remember this. So this is one thing I haven't mentioned, but some doctors have mentioned it. Disease specialists. When you're out in public, or if you're in a store or something, you're wearing a mask. If you have glasses, there's a less chance you're going to get any droplets in your eyes. Supposedly, it can travel that way too. So if you're out and about outside, you know, you don't want to wear a mask, wearing sunglasses, or even sunglasses that have light tint if it's not sunny out. That'll actually help prevention too, right? Because, yeah, I know I have friends that gleek a lot, you know, gleeking where they spit sometimes when they talk. So it is possible that you could get sick that way. So we want to take that precaution. Like I said, follow up here. If you're wearing masks, don't wear them more than a day if you can help it. If you're wearing them at work all day, don't wear the same one at work that you wear to go out to dinner or shopping, blah, blah, blah. You get my point. Don't be so hard on the government here. Try to be supportive to your fellow man. The government doesn't know which end is up right now because it's trying to make everybody happy. Unfortunately, they cannot. They never will. And they need to just make the decisions that are appropriate to make everybody stay safe and healthy. And they need to stick to their guns. This is why people are losing faith in the government, because they keep flip-flopping back and forth, trying to satisfy everybody's needs, wants, and cries. Okay? As someone that's had the virus, I will tell you I do not wish it at the level we had it on anyone. And I do suggest you take care of yourself. Even the flu can be deadly. And if you don't believe me, do your research. The flu kills way more people. Maybe I think they're actually pretty close in numbers right now, but all depends, right? So it can still kill people. You don't want to get that. I like the idea that we're washing our hands more, and we're wearing masks and we're keeping our distance. I don't like people in my space anyways. I tend to swing my arms around to people that get in my space, give them a little throat punch. You know, that's what I want to do, but I don't, because I'm a nice guy usually. This really helps from us spreading germs. Whenever you touch stuff when you're out in public, whether it be a door handle, a railing, remember, don't touch your mask unless you're pulling the strings off your ears. And don't put your hands, people kind of wipe their nose, or they'll run their fingers on their lips because their lips are dry or wet or whatever. Or they'll rub their eyes with dirty hands that they just touched product with. Well, these are little common sense things that can prevent you from getting sick. Just because you're fully vaccinated, if you got the virus on your hand and you wipe your eyes, if your immune system's affected in any way, you're going to get it, with or without the vaccine. Take that into consideration when you're out next time. Let's help each other as Canadians to get rid of this virus and eradicate it for good. The government's opening and closing and opening and closing before it's completely gone. It's a vicious cycle. And honestly, it really, really needs to stop. I'm actually worried for the people that were out and about. There's actually, so a couple people made TikTok videos. Many of you have not seen them, I'm sure. There isn't as many. People won't share it because they don't want that to get out. They want their cause for freedom, right? So I saw 3 videos today, different people in different parts of the world. One of them was Canadian in Toronto. A young girl. She was protesting and hugging everybody. She was all about it. And she woke up one morning and she couldn't breathe. She went to the hospital and turned out she had COVID. Now she's sick, like really sick. So, and she tried telling people, you know, wear your mask when you're protesting and be safe, stop with the hugging. She regrets what she's doing. And the other 2 were guys. One older, which was an older man, which, you know, immune system's probably compromised, right? The other guy was young. He was a young businessman, whatever. And I guess, I think he was from Britain. Yeah, he was, I believe it was a United Kingdom fella. He swore up and down that he was not a believer. He was against it and he was protesting. And yeah, he ended up getting sick and ended up getting COVID. And now he's trying to tell people it's real, protect yourselves, don't do what I did. And so we do have a few people that are going to admit when they were wrong. And then we're going to have a majority of the people that are going to get sick and they're going to be like, I had the flu. It's not COVID. It's just the flu. I'm going to get over it. I'm going to still go to work. I ain't going to let anybody think that I'm not telling the truth, or I don't want the government to win. I want my freedom, right? So you're always going to have those people. Anyways, I appreciate you listening to my story. And honestly, I could talk all day about this. Common sense goes a long way, my fellow Canadians and North Americans, or Europe, wherever you are listening to this. Use your own judgment. Use your common sense. And let's try to be a COVID-free planet here. Let's move on with life and enjoy life. All right. we'll call it a day. I'm Mark, your host for the Reckless Experience with Mark. Be safe and be kind. Don't let COVID run your life, and use a lot of common sense on your daily living.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Reckless Experience with Mark. Be sure to visit our website at www.recklessexperience.com, where you can subscribe so you'll never miss a show. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. And be sure to tune in next week for our next episode, the know-how, the how-to, and the WTF.